welcome to Writer. I'm your host, Kat Filer, also known as KJ Filer. My guest today is Tonya Todd. Tonya is a Las Vegas actress, screenwriter, producer, and author. She is vested in owned voices and fair representation in both the literary and cinematic worlds. She is the host of the 52 Love podcast, where she interviewed a myriad of creatives dedicated to celebrating love and art in all its forms. Via the Femme On Podcast, Tonya promotes advocacy on active activism. She hosts Dime Grinds, a monthly author meet and greet. On the Banned Books Conversations, available on YouTube, she and her guests discuss censorship, works that have been removed from a library shelf or school curriculum. Tonya, it's so good to see you again. How have you been?
Meow, I've been very busy because we just finished up Banned Books Week.
It was really good. I was listening to that. So yeah, and it was very odd because I happened to be at a bookstore the other day and they had the most amazing display. I think I sent you a picture.
Yes, it was great.
Yeah. And I was looking at, and they had flames coming out of each book and they said why they had been banned.
Right.
And it was a little bit silly and scary at the same time.
Disconcerting, isn't it?
It really was.
That's all that it takes to get a book banned.
And so many of the books in the window were books that were required reading at some point, you know? So, or books that we all loved. I think you put up the thing on Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
Charlotte's Web.
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that incredible?
It is.
We're going to ban Charlotte's Web.
Yeah. Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time. So many of them. And you have hit some of my absolute favorites in your conversations recently. So listeners, please go and look for that. You'll find the links below. You should go and listen to that. So you have a new project, and no surprise there. And listeners, again, I'll put the links below so you can find out more about this and show Tonya some love. But Tonya, please tell us about this.
So my latest project is a short film, which will be my directorial debut, called Morning Sacrifice. And it's actually an adaptation from the first short story I ever had published. So it only makes sense that it would be my directorial debut.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about the story?
Sure. This was the first time that a character spoke to me when I was writing a story. So I tend to write in third person, and I was writing the story and it wasn't working. The only thing I knew about it is that it had to have a theme of redemption, and it had to be in Nevada because it was for an anthology. And as I started writing it, the character started talking to me and revealing things to me. And it turns out that this character is a vampire posing as a detective to help the woman he loves search for her missing husband, while revealing while concealing what he really knows about the disappearance.
Ooh, okay. So there's a lot to that.
Yeah, there's a little bit to unpack there.
Yeah, just a little bit. So sounds really interesting. And you have a trailer or not have a trailer about that?
No, because we haven't started filming yet.
Oh, okay. We
are actually crowdfunding for it, and we are set to begin filming on October 20th.
Okay. All right. And I understand that you are not starring in this film. Why is that?
Well, we've discussed how I tend to wear a lot of different tiaras, but yes, this is a new tiara for me. So I wanted to get comfortable in it before I started, trying to don two at once.
Yeah.
When I play characters, I tend to really get into the roles and they consume me. So I didn't want to have the conflicting elements of learning how to do this new job while this character is pulling me in another direction. I do have something in the future that I plan to direct and star in, but I need to learn the role first before I try to combine them.
This will be fun. This is a whole new thing for you then.
It is.
So where did you find the lead actors for the film?
I did a casting call on a local Facebook page where we have, actors come to look for specific jobs. And I did a search on Backstage, which is a national casting site, and I ended up casting two actors that are on Backstage. There's a lot of auditioning involved, but they were the two best.
So these are not people that you've worked with before. They're people.
No,
Okay.
never met them. The choice for the lead female, she was the clear front runner from the beginning. We did have a little bit of competition there, but after the callbacks, she was the clear choice. For D'Artagnan, the competition was stiffer, and I thought it was going to be an easy decision, and it was not. They were so good, and they brought different elements to the character, but ultimately I ended up choosing the one that would be best when paired with the Celine. Like, once I made my decision with her, I chose the one that would be best there. And even that was a difficult decision. I've done casting, but this is the first time I've done it for my project, and there's just so much involved with it. There's so many elements and intricacies that you don't think you have to consider.
Yeah. So some of that then is chemistry between the actors.
Chemistry and the potential for them building off one another. There even just height factors you have to think about, because what's going to look better on screen, who will look better with each other, that kind of thing, and not overpower each other in a certain degree.
Yeah. Okay. So with every production of anything comes some sort of budget. What were some of the unexpected expenses?
Yeah, you think you have everything accounted for, and then they're like, yeah, but you need insurance. Okay, so I assume this amount for insurance, and it turns out it was more than twice as much for the insurance that I needed for my film. And I'm not even using firearms or dealing with anything really dangerous. There are no stunts involved. So just at a basic level, the insurance was much higher. And then it was recommended that I create an LLC for the project, so that, if anything happens, just to cover all bases and make sure that everyone stays safe, and that I'm not liable for any freak accidents. That was an expense too that I didn't expect. You have to pay the actors, you have to pay for sound and makeup and locations and things like that. But I wasn't thinking LLC. I wasn't thinking about the business part of it,
Yeah. Well, I think that happens anytime that you go from the creative side to the business side.
Yes.
So, that's it's a rude awakening for authors too.
It is.
You go from the I wrote a book stage to now you have to sell the book.
Right.
No one expects to have to do that. And so, yeah, that's kind of
I just want to write it. I don't want to have to market
it. Well, and in this situation, I just want to film it. I just want to put it up. Oh yeah, but I have to do all this first. Oh, okay.
Right. Another unexpected expense was the poster. Like, I wasn't expecting.
Oh gosh.
I just wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't picturing a poster. You kind of know it's necessary, but it wasn't something that was in my original idea. The script and the characters and the filming. But hey, that's a part of it too.
Well, crowdfunding is a good way of handling that, but I wanted to suggest another option for you. Something that I have come up with recently for PR expenses is people have been gifting me things like business cards, and for Valentine's Day this past year, I got book plates instead of flowers.
Oh, nice.
So now my friends, and most especially my husband, supports me as an author by giving me things that have to do with the business of writing. So
that's an excellent idea.
Encourage that idea among your friends and family. Christmas is coming up. There's probably a birthday in there somewhere. So yeah. What do you want for? Let me think.
Yeah.
So
my birthday's in December, and that's after we're filming. So
it's afterwards, unfortunately.
But maybe the next project.
Yeah, but go ahead and get them to contribute to your coffers ahead of time for the next thing. So yeah. So what's been your favorite part of the process so far?
You mentioned friends and family and them contributing to your success, and that has been just an unexpected pleasure, is people pitching in and offering their assistance. Maybe it's not financial, but it's saving me money in things that I would have to pay somebody else to do. There are people who have helped me put together the crowdfunder, like just finding the images that go up on the site. That can take hours to find the right image. So I've had help with that. I've had help with promotions. I've had help with going through the entire script and finding all of the costumes and props, people gifting their time like that, which that saves me time, it saves me money, and it just feels like people are helping to keep me afloat, if that makes sense to you.
It does. It makes sense. I know I've been the beneficiary of more acts of kindness than any one person deserves. And in my quest to discover why people do this, first of all, I've discovered that people would really like to be known as nice. So if there's an opportunity for people to do something for other people, most of them will. It's if they don't do it, it's because they didn't think about it. And so I think that's been a new experience for me. And also, you're extremely generous with your time and talents with other people. I happen to know how many organizations you're involved in. And I'm not surprised at all if people come forward trying to sort of pay that back. You never expect people to pay it back.
Right. That's the thing. You don't expect it, though.
Right.
I have a colleague who, she references it like you are putting deposits in your Goodwill bank, and people will come back and pay you back in that regard. Exactly. But I wasn't thinking of it that way, and I definitely am not doing it for that purpose.
Right.
So when people started coming out of the woodwork, like, well, I can handle this for you, I can do this for you, what else do you need? Just little things. Most of my crew isn't even being paid. They are volunteering their time, and it doesn't feel phoned in. They're not treating it like a free project. They're treating it like it's an investment in all of our futures.
Yeah.
Because we have big plans for this picture. And you know what? When it's time to make one of their films, guess who's going to be the first to raise their hand to say, what can I do to help you succeed?
Exactly. No, I know that to be true. A friend of mine refers to it as karma credit. And I like that. So it's like, and you do have to contribute to that account with no expectation of a return ever. And if it's a part of your personality, and I know that to be a part of your personality, it is. You don't think about what you're doing for other people, but they do. So they kind of keep.
And when you think of it as karma credit, then it doesn't necessarily have to be from the person that you give to. It's just, you put it out in the world, it will be returned to you, maybe from the same person, maybe not. But that's still not the reason that you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see that people are coming out, and I'm
hoping very blessed with all of the people that have helped me, and still surprised because of just how many and how generous they are with their time, donating skills that I don't have. I'm not a good editor, but these videos that we've done for the crowdfunder, all I did was decide what to say. I'm not putting it together because that's not my skill set.
Yeah. But people like to be able to step up and do for other people, and especially if it's your skill set, you can just step in and say, well, I can handle that. That makes it's good for you, but it's good for everyone, really. So how important is the preparation process before you start filming?
It's essential. Things are not going to go as planned on set, period. Like, that's the rule. You can plan and plan and plan. I've been on many a set where it's like, this was the plan for the day. That's not going to happen. My first feature film, we had this scene that was supposed to happen, and we were losing sun. The sun was just going, it was rapid. So the director came to me and said, you're a writer. Why don't you write a scene to patch in here to explain how it got dark between this and this, because we were having trouble getting this shot. And it's like, okay, I mean, A, thank you for trusting me with this. B, the pressure. But we did it. We did it, and it worked.
That's great. So
I'm expecting things like that, but you have to prepare as much as possible to minimize those surprises. And also, when you're doing all this preparation, what you're doing is you're team building, so that you and the others that are on set are going to trust each other. Like, okay, let's try this. Go.
Yeah. Do you find that in your planning that stuff comes out that actually ended up better than what you originally planned?
Definitely. That's one of the reasons that you surround yourself with other people who know more about what they're doing in certain areas than you do, because you get through that brainstorming process and you're like, I wouldn't have thought of that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's almost like you breathe life into a project and then it kind of comes
Yes.
alive and does its thing. So
Yes, yes, it's absolutely like that. Every time we have one of our production meetings, it's just like, wow, you can see the progress that we're making. Okay, these things were not marked off the list last week, but now they are. Move on to the next list. Let's go.
yeah. And sometimes the things that don't get marked off, when they finally do get marked off, got marked off in a better way than you had hoped.
Right.
So because something becomes available that wasn't available before.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So you are accepting crowdfunding. You are running a crowdfunder. So what are some of the incentives for contributors?
Well, we understand that not everyone has a lot of money to contribute. So at the smallest level, we call them blood donors because it's a
I love
vampire.
that.
All you have is say $10 to contribute. You know, every drop counts. We love that, and we will give you a public thank you for that. There's a little bit higher donation, which are blood bagged life forces, and for that, it's $25. You get to have a thank you in the credits. If you have a little bit more to give, we've had things like name a character. Those sold out very fast, so that was a popular choice. You can get a copy of the movie before it is released, so have your own digital copy of it. You can have a digital copy of the score. There is an option to be a victim on the victim board, like on the evidence board, so you have your picture in the actual movie.
So
And then at a higher level, if someone donated vampire photo shoots, which I know you've seen the pictures that I've done, those are from him. The Ignis Umbra, Richard Mathis, he donated vampire photo shoots for the higher level people. So $900, you get the photo shoot. If you go with the $1,500 one, you get to be an associate producer and you get the photo shoot.
Oh, gosh. It's very creative and it's really a lot of fun too. So it's not just contributing, it's getting to be involved. So,
right, getting to be a part of it. And I think that's why the name the character went so fast, because ooh, I get to have a piece of this.
Yeah. It's really good. So where will people be able to see the film?
Well, because we are going the festival circuit, it won't be immediately available. And I won't be able to answer that until after we run the circuit, because that's when you deal with distribution. However, there is that, you get a preview of it if you contribute to the $50 level. We call it the vampire voyeur. You get to see it before anybody else does.
That's great. Okay. And then but you've also got something up on Facebook, I think, about this so that people can stay informed on where you are in it.
There are several different accounts. There's an Instagram account, a YouTube account, and a Facebook account, all under Morning Sacrifice, and that's morning with you. So that is keeping people informed, giving little teasers about the characters, showing you the crew and some of the behind the scenes stuff. And then we also just have the crowdfunder video. And then we recently hit 50%. So I did a little thank you video for that, because you know, we couldn't be where we are without the people who are assisting us.
Yeah. And congratulations on that. It's a big milestone.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
we have just a few days left. Like, we're getting close, and we've gone beyond the 50% at this point, but just a little, like we're inching forward.
Yeah. So everybody needs to kick in now, because there's only a couple days left. So
And even if it's just that $10, you know, every drop counts. Every drop counts. We appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's a really good point. I know that this is going to look like a left field discussion, but it's not. I was talking to some author friends at a book signing recently, and one of my friends said, I don't know why you push digital books. And I said, why wouldn't you? And she says, because they go on sale and sometimes they're only 99 cents. And I said, do you think that you run out of readers? Do you think people have to have a physical copy of a book to enjoy it? You know, and what difference does it make what they paid? And she says, well, I want them to pay more so that I make more so I can afford to do another book. And I said, well, if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason. That's first and foremost in writing. Yeah, that's not going to be. But the other thing too is the whole purpose really is to sort of touch people, you know, get some kind of audience response. And not that you don't want to return on your investment, but the other thing too is people read or do what they can do. So if they can only do the digital, or if that's the only thing they're interested in, it's better that they do that. It's more readers is better, more viewers is better, more contributors is better. So you're right. I hope that listeners,
and the crowdfunder doesn't pay us anything. It just helps cover expenses to make the film. We're not making a profit off this at all.
Yeah.
It's helping us to pay for the expenses that weren't volunteered to us, and to take care of things like that. Definitely not going into anybody's pocket.
Yeah. And I want to appeal to listeners to please go look, because you will have seen Tonya somewhere as an author, as an actress, as a podcaster, or something. There is something that she's doing that you've enjoyed. And here's your opportunity to reach out and support her where you may not have had the opportunity to support her before. So please, and then don't get caught up in the, oh, I don't have $50. Do you have 2? Do you have 5? Do you have 10?
Yeah. There's a cash donation thing, just cash. You only have $1.
Yeah. And again, the Credit Karma, you don't know what that might come back as. So yeah.
It might mean the difference between us being able to feed our crew and our cast something a little better than fast food, on set.
For sure.
To sustain them for our evening shoots, because it is a vampire film, which means we're shooting at night. Yeah.
So and what, you probably can't tell us what the location is. Can you?
It's in Las Vegas.
Is it? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
because the original story it had to be Nevada based to be in the anthology. So I kept it in Las Vegas.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll be fun.
And that cuts expenses because I happen to live in Las Vegas.
So not that you don't have enough going on, but are there any next projects in the pipeline that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm continuing with Active Activism. That is an ongoing thing. And I also do Femme On Fitness for Femme On. That group of ladies has been extremely supportive with all of my projects. They gave me an entire week for the banned books project. Like usually episodes come out twice a week. We did 7 solid days of banned books.
Yeah. That is such a great series. And I hope that listeners are going to go and check that out. So, and it's linked, by the way. So if you haven't looked at what other programs are linked to this one, go and look, because anything that's linked is something that I personally endorse. So go look. So yeah.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, Tonya, it has been an honor and a pleasure. And listeners, as always, I will put the links below so you can find today's guest and find out more about her projects and support her work, and most especially the one that she's working on right now.
Before we go, may I ask you one question?
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite vampire?
My favorite vampire is you. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Meow.
If I had to say, I would say back in the day, Interview with a Vampire, the whole cast.
The whole cast.
Yeah, I was not a vampire. I was a vampire fan now that I think about it. And I just didn't think of myself as one. I had read the original Dracula and really loved it. But a friend of mine had asked me to sit with her and watch Interview with a Vampire. And I'm like, that's totally not my thing, but I'll do it. I'll do anything if it's over.
And you're like, all right. Yeah.
Wine.
That totally is my thing.
It's fine. It was totally my thing. I watched it a couple more times on my own. It was really good. So who's your favorite vampire?
Dracula is my favorite vampire.
Dracula. Oh, you mean not an actor, you meant an actual vampire. Well, Dracula then.
Yeah. Yes, I love Dracula. My favorite version. I'm Hungarian, so I am partial to the Bela Lugosi Dracula, but my favorite is Gary Oldman. He nailed it. He was so sensual and powerful, and I just love that movie. Yeah. No, I really liked. And funny, did you ever read the original Dracula? Of course. And in fact, I'm kind of reading it right now because there's this thing called Dracula Daily, where they take, how it's told in letters. Yeah. So what they do is they put it out on the dates that those letters, and it goes right to your
I
inbox.
like that. Oh.
So it's a longer process of reading it, but you get it in the letters on the days, and I'm not done yet.
God, but you would be experiencing it like the character.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I recommend it. It's really cool.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm going to have to look now. So yeah. Tonya, it was great. So we'll talk again soon, and listeners, look below for all this stuff.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.